Hello there, Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today I've had a package arrive in the mail. We've got something apricot related in here. Basically I went and did it again, a couple of drinks and a late night browse on eBay, and I was looking to see if there was anything interesting in apricot related, and this flashed up, and it was £25 a near offer or something like that, and I think I bid him 15 quid for it or something, and he accepted. So might as well, I'll open this up and we can have a quick look what I've got. I better sort some anti-static out actually. Got my static already plugged in. I'll stick that on before we actually open the box up. I don't know how well this has been packed. The box is nice anyway. Let's see how well packed it is inside. I'll definitely make use of this box again though. There we go. Oh, excellent. Oh, someone that really knows how to pack stuff. Oh, what's in here? Oh yeah, there was a couple of extra spare ICs, so they're obviously in that, but excellent, it's an anti-static bag. Got all these horrible packing peanuts to get rid of, but that's been packed properly. That really has been packed properly. Right. Oh, there's something else in it. Random piece of plastic there. I don't think there's anything else. That. Oh, that's just the shipping label. Alright, let me get rid of this box. I've got to be careful with that so I don't spill them packing peanuts everywhere. Fortunately, those are the cornstarch ones, so I'll just throw them on my fire and they'll melt away. They're not plastic. Right, and let's have a look at what we've got in here. That's got to be the biggest anti-static bag I have ever seen in my life. Look at the size of that anti-static bag, Jesus. I think I'll find use for that. In fact, I've got a board which I need. I'm a bit worried it's not really in a decent anti-static bag because it's so large. I might be able to use that. Anyway, here's what we've got. Now this is the board out of one of Apricot's other computers. This is, was it the QI range, I think? But essentially this came out, I think, just after the Zen series. And this is basically an MCA computer. From what I can gather, there weren't that many manufacturers that actually produced MCA machines. The technology was licensable from IBM, and Apricot was one of the companies that actually did produce a range. I think they were the QI range of computers. I believe one of my viewers actually, I remember when I started messing with the Zen, he was talking about a system that he had that's an Apricot, and that was an MCA based system, so I wonder if it's the main board out of the same system as he has. It's the same, basically it's very, very similar, as in we've got a 386 SX16. I'm guessing we've got the same 1 megabyte of RAM. The only real difference is, like I said, we've got MCA expansion bus there rather than ISA. Why did I buy it? I got it cheap, and it's apricot related basically. I just thought it might be a bit of fun, see if we can perhaps get this thing to power up, see if it actually does work. It'd be interesting to see if this will boot a floppy drive, a floppy disk. If I can plug a floppy disk in here and actually get it to work, we might be in a much better position than we are with the Apricot Zen. One good thing I can spot is I can't see a backup battery on board, and I can't see any sign of corrosion. There we go, I think. Reliability, 2 VA 1. I think what we've got is like a Dallas style real-time clock module there. It's not a Dallas one. It's branded reliability. But that does look like a Dallas real-time clock kind of solution. In which case that could also have the battery backup for the whole system, as like we've seen in later systems. You know, they do that. My digital DEC PC, that 486 that I use, that has a Dallas real-time clock in it that also stores the BIOS information. Something has been spilt on this board, or it's been somewhere where there's been some heavy corrosion. There's none actually really on the board. And I did see this in the photos on eBay, but the 2 BIOS chips there, this one's got like a horrible, I don't know what it is, it almost looks like coffee or something like that's been spilt on it. Get this off my... There's a surprising amount of bodge wires on this board as well. They are running absolutely everywhere, and I do believe they're actually probably factory, because they've got like the factory style glue holding them down. And what I'll do, unfortunately I'm not in a position to really play about much with my new camera microscope. I still haven't been able to find my VJ capture card, so I can't really capture the images from that in. But for this board, I mean, we're not going to be looking right down on it just yet. I'll get the camera over, I'll set it up actually on the board, and we can have a quick look over the board. And then we might actually have a look to see if we can possibly power this thing up and see exactly what it does. So I'll reset the camera and we'll be back in a sec. Okay, that's about as best I can do for a view for you folks, unfortunately. It's not too bad, but you can definitely see this is an interesting board. Just look at the amount of bodge wires here. I've never actually seen, I mean obviously when boards have been repaired, but there's no corrosion damage on this board. This all looks like it's factory rework. I've never seen so much work on a board. I'm presuming it must be a very early board, this. I can't actually see a revision number on it at all. But it's just wow. I mean, there's an IC there with like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 6 or 7 different bodge wires coming off it. We've got bodge wires going, you know, from bits of 74 series logic down here up to all some of these chips, big ICs up here, the chips and technologies. I mean, this is your entire chipset for the main board, basically, and it will be well, it won't be completely different, but it'll be somewhat different to what's used in the Zen S, for the simple fact that there are differences between the fact this is an MCA board and the ISA boards. So I can't, there's probably not actually a lot on here that I could swap over and it actually work on my Zen S board. There is some stuff. I mean, if this board turns out to be completely unrepairable and we can't do anything with it, I mean, providing it's okay, we could certainly steal the RAM off this to go over onto the Zen S board and give me 2 megabytes of RAM on board. The disk drive controller I can see is different. It uses a like a quad flat pack style, like one of these. On the Zen S is where we've got a Zilog part here. That's the floppy disk controller right there. Other things that I thought, which I've just noticed actually. This computer doesn't have an onboard an onboard hard drive controller. Originally I thought it did. I thought it was the same as the Zen S, where we had floppy drive there, and a RL or MFM style hard drive connector there. It's not. That's actually for the LEDs for the front of the case. That connector there is floppy drive 1, and that connector there is floppy drive 2. So as you if you've seen my ZenS videos, the way that the Apricots handle the floppy drive seems to be somewhat different to how most PCs do. They don't seem to use the twisting the cable, it's just a straight cable, so I presume it's all done on the board, so we just connect one floppy drive up there and we'll connect another floppy drive up there, and then that's A and B. What I'm planning to do is actually we'll have to take the ZenS apart. I'm hoping that the ZenS's power supply should be able to power this board up. That connector there does look exactly the same. So all being well, like I said, I think we can possibly use the ZenS's power supply to power this board up. We can also probably pinch the ZenS's floppy disk drive. That is floppy connector 1 there, and we can probably connect the floppy drive up there. I don't know if we're going to be able to get it to boot or not. We're probably going to come up with similar problems that we did with the ZenS, and we can't do the little trick we did on the ZenS and plug a SCSI card in to boot the computer, because I don't have any MCA SCSI cards, unfortunately. In fact, I've got I've got one other computer, an IBM that is an MCA machine, and that has a token ring card in it, I think, and a external floppy disk drive card in it, and those are the only 2 MCA cards I actually have. But I just thought this would be an interesting board to do a video on. You don't see them very often, and like I say, it didn't cost me a huge amount to actually buy it. It is nicely filled with ports on the back here as well, as we can see. So we've got what I presume is a serial, a parallel, VGA out, what I think may be another serial, what I think is probably our network out, and then we've got a floppy drive and a sorry, not a floppy drive, a keyboard and a mouse connector at the end there. So what I think I'll do, I'll get the ZenS stripped down, extract its power supply and its disk drive. I need to pull that computer apart again anyway to do some work on it. So I'll get them parts pulled out, we'll get it hooked up to this board, and we'll actually see if there's any life in it. So back in a sec. Right, okay folks, I'm actually struggling to get all this in one shot, but basically we've got the power supply out of the ZenS here. That's plugged into the board. I've got the VGA hooked up here. I've got the floppy drive out of the ZenS hooked up. I've got power in. I've got a keyboard connected. Fortunately, the board is actually marked which one's the keyboard and which one's the mouse on the actual main board. So I suppose all we better do is switch on and see if it's going to do anything. I'll get you up on the screen so you can actually see if it's actually going to do anything. You'll see with me. So let's switch on. And the power lights come on the board. But there is no sign of any video activity, unfortunately. Anything getting warm. Those are getting slightly, just as you'd expect them to. Nothing's burning up or anything. No. Well, I'll just switch off. Right, what I will do, we have got a set of dip switches here. I don't know what any of them do. There could be a possibility that there's some way that you can perhaps, like, you know, they've disabled the onboard VGA because this was being used with a MCA VGA card. I really don't know. I'll just have a fiddle about for a couple of minutes and then we'll come right back, see if I can figure anything out. Well, unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be it for this one for the moment. I've tried every configuration I could of them dip switches. I've lifted all the socketed ICs, reseated them. I've just checked quickly for 5 volts on various parts of the board, and 5 volts is getting everywhere it should be. So, like I said, really at the moment I can't go much further with it. I just bought this board on a whim. It'd have been nice if it had just fired up, but the problem with these Apricot boards is try to find any form of documentation for them. There's basically nothing out there. I've found bits of information for the earlier computers, like the XI range, the F series, things like that, the portable. I can find some service data and things for Apricots of that age, but I cannot find any service data for anything from like the ZenS, the QI, any of the slightly later stuff. As far as I can see, I can't find anything out there on the web. It'd be really nice if there's actually anyone out there that's watches my videos and has any technical data on these computers that they'd be willing to let me have a look at. I'd be really, really appreciative, because I'd love to try and get some of these, like my ZenS. I really want to get to the bottom of why I can't get the floppy drive to allow it to boot. It's annoying that, because I'm pretty much there with that computer. I've got a few little bits and bats to do. While we've got it apart now, so I've stripped it all out again, I think I'll go in with some of this conformal coating and actually go over some of those repairs that I did, because it's still bare copper, and with the conformal coating I can actually hold down those little repair wires that were fitted to repair the corrosion damage. This board hasn't got any corrosion damage on it, but it's not playing ball, unfortunately. It's a shame I haven't got some MCA cards, like at least like an MCA video card I could try in there and just see if I could eliminate whether it's a video issue on the actual board. I'm not going to give up with it just yet. I will keep fiddling about with it, but I think the next apricot-y kind of video that we do will probably be back on the ZenS, and see if we can finally see if we can figure out a way of getting it to boot from floppy disk. I've got a few ideas I might want to try, so we'll have a look at them in an upcoming video. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you found that interesting, because like I say, you don't see just bits of apricot come up every day, especially not at a price which I can throw a few quid at. The price of vintage computer stuff now, even 80s and 90s stuff, it's horrendous. It's getting to the point where it's pricing me out of the hobby, basically. Unless I come up, every now and again I'll score something at a reasonable price, but a lot of the stuff on eBay and places like that is just way out of my price range now. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed this little video, and like I said, I hope a few people found that interesting. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.